Hey guys, I'm back, and today I have a new custom LEGO minifigure showcase video. Today I am showcasing 3 of my new custom LEGO minifigures from Mandalorian Season 3. Well, I don't know if they're all going to be in Season 3, but they were certainly all in Season 1, and I hope to see them in Season 3. I have Boba Fett, actually in his Book of Boba Fett outfit, because I just thought it would be cooler, and I didn't want to waste time on making his Mandalorian outfit when he got his own show. And personally, I just like that outfit better. So I have Boba Fett, I have Din Djarin, and I have Bo-Katan. All new custom LEGO minifigures that you haven't seen here on the channel. Previously, I've only really showed these on Instagram because that's where I'm most active. And yeah, I just finished up Din Djarin the other day at the time of recording this. So yeah, let's get into this showcase with Mando. So let's kick things off with Din Djarin, or the Mandalorian, and I just want to preface this. So much work went into these figures. So much work. And for this one, a lot of people went into this figure, and that'll make more sense as I go along. So we're going to go from the top down, and starting with this beautiful helmet piece from my friend Luke, Venom Paintball, or Venom Custom Brickworks on Instagram. Or actually on Instagram it's Venom, and then 7777, 4 sevens, I think it is. But we start off with this beautiful Mandalorian helmet piece by Luke. It's a 3D printed or casted part printed by him, and I'll leave all the links to people, all their channels and everything in the description, and I'm actually going to leave Luke's store, so go stop by, pick up a few items. Right now, at the recording of this video, like as the time of recording this, he's doing like a Christmas event where he drops a new thing every day, so go check him out. Anyways, the piece is a beautiful helmet piece. Basically what I did is I painted it up so I did a layer, well, I primed it first, and then did a base layer of a Molotov liquid chrome paint pen recommended to me by Aaron, LEGO Mandalorian 9. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. And a lot of this is heavily inspired by his Mandalorian figure, which I'll put, a little card up there. But it was a Molotov liquid chrome paint pen, and then I went over it with some Citadel Iron Breaker, and then a little bit of another shade of Citadel Rune Fang Steel to just give it that extra shiny, chrome look. And then I did a bunch of washes for this helmet to make it look a little bit more dinged up and worn out. So I did a Citadel wash with Nuln oil, and then I did another Citadel wash with a brown paint. I forget the exact name of it. Well, not paint, but a brown wash. And I think it turned out great. After that, I just I did a few little bits of shading on the helmet and just stuck it on there. I think it looks really good. Moving down, we have a sculpted scarf. You can see it right under there. We have a sculpted scarf or not sculpted scarf. It's where the cape comes over, like drapes over the front of the torso, because I didn't know how to do that with the actual cape, so I just decided to sculpt it just to make it a little easier. But yeah, there's a lot of sculpting on this figure, and I'm very happy. I think this is like the third figure, like the third most sculpting I've had to do on a figure. And I think it turned out really nice. So the chest plate is 100% sculpted by me. I was figuring out trying to figure out how I was going to do this when I first wanted to make this figure. And I was looking online for Mandalorian chest plates, and I was doing hard searching, and I just figured, fuck it. And so this figure would not be possible without my friend Aaron, LEGO Mandalorian 9. I used his Mandalorian armor sculpting tutorial for this figure, so go check that out. I used that to sculpt the chest, and I think it turned out really great. I really love the layering that I got on there and just the definition. So that was sculpted and then painted with the same technique as that. So the chrome paint pen, and then the Citadel Iron Breaker. I actually didn't do the third color, so I just did the two and then gave it a Nuln oil wash. The bandolier across the chest is a piece of fabric with all those little canisters on there sculpted, which I think turned out really, really nice. And then he has a little buckle on the top, which is also dry sculpted. I think the canisters were one of the hardest parts. Just these little tiny things and the little canisters down there were the hardest parts of this figure. I think they could be a little cleaner on the bandolier, but I think they turned out great. So one part that actually I really wanted to do for this figure was make actually, first of all, let's go to the back. And we got a jetpack back there. It's just a Clone Army Customs jetpack that I magnetized onto the back, so it can just fit on right there. But with the bandolier, it actually goes over this tiny cape. Come on. It actually goes over the tiny cape into the back. The back could be a little nicer, but, a little bit rushed. But the cape is just a LEGO Mandalorian cape from, like, the battle packs that I just cut to shape and painted and gave it a little bit of a wash. So, yeah. All the stitching on the chest and the side of the figure was done by me, and this was so tedious. It was so not fun to do. Like, I fucking hated it. Really did not like doing it. So I did that on the side, and then I did the stitching on the arms there, and I did those black lines on the chest, and the same thing is on the other arm. And moving down, we can see that he's a brick arms pistol that I just painted up. I painted it in, it was all black, I believe, and then I painted the main part of the gun in a gunmetal color, and then the muzzle a little silver, added some gold detailing, and then I painted the handle in a brown color. So we're going to drop that out of his hand, and we're going to put his arm down. And if we go around to the arms, we can see that these are really nice sculpted pieces by our friend Aaron again. This figure would not be possible without Aaron, and Aaron's kind of the whole reason I made this figure, because he gave me these arms at Brick Fair. These are casts of his Mandalorian arms. I got them from him at Brick Fair, and I think they look fantastic. So I did no sculpting on the arms. Arms and hands are all by Aaron. All I did was paint them. So I really love that sculpted mudhorn signet on the arm right there. I'll try and get a close up of that. But yeah, the mudhorn signet, just the way it pops. So I did the same paint pen and then the Citadel color, and then for the mudhorn signet I did a little bit of a black wash just to make the sculpt pop out a little more, and I think it works tremendously well. For the gauntlets, I just painted them really, and then the hands had those little sculpted bits on them that, well, not sculpted, but 3D printed bits, and I just painted them up. All I had to do was paint them. So one arm cast was white and one arm cast was black. So this one looks a little better, but I just try to have that one down by his side. So this arm is different. It has the whistling birds on it. Again, I'll try and get a close up of that. So the whistling birds, as you can see, all the little divots and everything are sculpted in there. I think it looks really, really nice. And if we go up to the shoulder pads, we can see that, obviously they're identical, but this one doesn't have the mudhorn signet on it, which, I think it looks really nice. Moving down from the arms, we have the belt piece, which is, holy fuck, this was not fun. So if you can see, it goes from the back, it extends from the back all the way around the front to the front, and it goes around the sides and back to the behind the figure. So the front of the belt has the 2 ammo canisters for his pulse rifle, even though it got blown up in his ship. So he has the 2 pulse rifle canisters, and then he has a sculpted bit right there, right next to the canisters, and he has a belt buckle and a pouch and 2 like thermal detonators, I think they are. He doesn't really use them in the show, but I just wanted to get 2 of them on there. He has 4, or I think 3 or 4, but I could only fit 2 on there. I was going to put them on the side of the figure, but I didn't really want to restrict the arm movement. So, moving down from the chest, we see that he has a little blue paint, like I painted this little pad under there. It goes from the middle of the chest, if you can see it in the light, like right there, it goes down. I just continued that onto the hip piece. And going to the side of him, we see that he has these little side flaps. I don't really know what these are called. They're just little side flaps for him. I don't even know. Those are made out of electrical tape and then painted and glued on. So, moving down to the legs, we have these nice Mandalorian thigh armor, knee pads, whatever. I think they're thigh armor. It's supposed to be just one for that side, but I just used both of them because I was feeling a little bit lazy, and honestly, it gets the job done. So what I meant by that is these are both the same design, but it's only supposed to be on this leg. So it gets the job done. So yeah, the thigh armor looks really nice. Again, everything metallic was painted in the Molotov liquid chrome paint pen with the Citadel iron breaker on top of it. So yeah, the legs look really nice, and then, oh my fucking god, this was hard to paint. What the fuck? Like, the pulse rifle canisters around his ankle were an absolute bitch to paint, because I had to cut those out. I dry sculpted those, cut out a bit of fabric, wrapped it around his leg. Well, it wasn't fabric, it was E-tape. And then glue those on and then paint them, which was fucking tedious. And that little bit above the pulse rifle canisters is sculpted, which was not fun at all. And this knee pad is, again, a knee pad from Luke, a Mandalorian knee pad. And that is just a sculpted pouch and an E-tape strap around his ankle. The shoes were just a basic Star Wars shoe design, nothing too crazy. But yeah, that was his gun, and I do have one more accessory for him, which is the Darksaber, which I think looks really sweet with him, because I assume he's going to be using that a lot more in Season 3, and he had it at the end of Season 2, and he used it a little bit in the Book of Boba Fett, and I think it just looks really nice on him. It's a really nice piece by Will Chapman over at Brick Arms. And I honestly like the look of it a lot more than the Aerolite Darksaber. It just looks way more sleek and way more accurate to the show. It just came in all black, and I painted up the handle and the blade. With that, let's move on to Bo-Katan. So here we are with Bo-Katan. And first of all, I just want to say that I think this is my best figure that I've ever made, ever. I am so unbelievably happy with how this figure turned out. It came out just how I wanted it, just how I wanted it to come out. So, starting off with the helmet, again, dude, Aaron's fucking carrying this whole video. This helmet was given to me by Aaron, LEGO Mandalorian 9 at Brick Fair. It was his, it's a 3D print, not 3D printed, casted helmet based on his Mandalorian, or his Bo-Katan helmet, not his Clone Wars Bo-Katan helmet, which I did buy last year, last year. This is the one from last year. Looked like this. So there's a comparison between the two, and I think this one looks way better. It's way more sleek and it's way more accurate. Also, I think that I did a better job painting it. So yeah, and at the end of this video, we're going to be doing a lot of comparisons because I've made all these figures before. That's going to be rough. So I really like the way this helmet turned out. I used a lot of battle damage techniques that I just picked up from a lot of YouTubers and just various, tutorials here and there, but I'm very happy with the battle damage that I got in the helmet. It's almost 1-to-1 scale with the show. So yeah, basically what I did is I painted the helmet. I used the same color actually on this helmet that I did for this one. Most of the same colors, the blue and the black and the gray, but I just think it came out way more sleek. So for the wash I did for the helmet, again, I used Citadel Null Oil. Again, that's like carrying this whole video, Citadel and Aaron. So for the helmet, I used Citadel Null Oil for the wash, and then I used a really fun method. I think I showed this in my painting minifigures like Bloody tutorial, which is I just dabbed a little bit of blue paint on there and then, dabbed it off. And it's the same blue paint I actually used on my Captain Rex minifigure for the visor, or around the helmet. Or wait, did I? No, this is the same blue that I used on the weld marks on that figure. So yeah, go check that video out. I'll put a link to it right there. Then the Clan Kreese symbol on her helmet was a fucking nightmare to paint. Specifically that little V shape in the middle. I painted those two bulbs first, which I really shouldn't have, and then I painted that next, and I think it turned out, just perfect. Here's a little more dings and a little more scrapes. The thing I'm most proud of on the helmet is the top with that big, burn mark. I don't even know what that is, but I think I just captured that really well with some black paint and some gunmetal paint, and I just sort of used my fingers and dirtied it up there. So if we go around the back of the helmet, you can see there's a little bit more battle damage. The sculpt by Aaron is just great, and the rangefinder is really delicate, but I can move it down. It falls off very frequently, but I can actually move it down like that. She never has it like that in the show, but it's just a fun little feature that Aaron included, so I do like that. And if we move down to the chest, we have another piece by Luke. It's his female Mandalorian. I think it was I don't know if it's just his generic female Mandalorian or if it's actually made for Bo-Katan. I can't remember, but it is the female Mandalorian chest piece, and I think it's very nice. I think it's not too big and bulky like a few of the other ones that I've seen in the community, but it's not too sleek to where it's not too thin as to where it looks like nothing's there. I think it's perfect. And I painted it in a Citadel gunmetal color, and then dirtied it up with some silver, and then gave it another Null Oil wash. And for the arms, everything was sculpted on the arms, which I'm really proud of. The shoulder pads were sculpted with the I'll try and get a little close up, with the Clan Kreese logo on both sides, or Clan Kreese symbol, I should say. So yeah, and moving down to the wrists, we have her whistling birds down there. Not too much of a fan of the sculpt, but I'm glad I got those little divots in there. I think Mando's sculpt is way better for the whistling birds. If you go around this side, the same thing, Clan Kreese logo, and on this side we got the flamethrower, I believe, that she doesn't really use, but we got the flamethrower and a few other little details on that side. The arms and the torso were all painted with a satin black color, and I did the stitching around the arms and around the sides, so I think it turned out really nice. That stitching was not fun to paint. So yeah. And then for accessories, I gave her these Mandalorian, that wasn't supposed to come off, Westar 35 blaster pistols They're the Clone Wars version, and personally, I don't really mind that. I don't really mind the Clone Wars animated look. I know Brick Arms has more realistic ones, but I personally just don't mind. Me personally, I just don't mind these. So yeah, we're gonna take those out of our hand, and just like Din Djarin, this wasn't that fun. I made 2 Darksabers. Again, I just decided, I was like, you know what, I'm on Brick Arms. I might as well pick up another one. I made another one for Bo-Katan. Which I like. This is the first one I painted, so I think the wisps in it aren't as good as Mando's, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, and because she has it a lot in, or I assume she'll have it in season 3, because at the end of Mandalorian season 2, it was hinted that they're gonna have to fight for the Darksaber. So yeah, so let's just take that out of our hands. There we go. And if we move down to the legs, or not the legs, actually no, before the legs, we can go back and see that her jetpack is another piece by Luke, and it's a really nice 3D printed part. Jetpack that I just painted up. I had to resculpt a little bit of it because it was a little bit off, because I don't think it was meant for Bo-Katan, but yeah. And then he has the back piece, which got a little messed up during the sculpt, but there's a place for a magnet there and there, so it just easily clips onto her back, which I'm really happy about. So if we move down to the legs, we can see that. So those, again, are the same knee pads that I used on Din Djarin. There, if you can see it right there, those are the 2 knee pads I used. Oh, and I forgot the belt. That's a piece of E-tape. All of the straps on hers are E-tape because her straps are leather in the shell. They're like more reminiscent of leather than they are of fabric, or cloth. So I use E-tape for her belt, which goes all the way around the torso and goes to the back, and it connects with those 2 back holsters. So yeah, the belt just had sculpted pouches, and the belt buckle was sculpted and painted. It's really not that, difficult. It was so difficult, but not that difficult to describe. And then the cod piece was just sculpted and glued on. Those holster straps by her side were E-tape, and those were a lot of fun to wrap around there. I had to cut them in a specific shape, and that was so much fun getting better. A lot of these figures were really good practice on how to get better at certain things, 3D elements. So the stitching on her legs were painted, and then the knee pads were painted, and so was the shin armor. So yeah, the boots were just my standard Mandalorian boot design. I know it's not entirely accurate to her boot design, but they're just my standard Mandalorian boot design. So yeah, that is pretty much it for Bo-Katan. Now let's move on to our last figure, Boba Fett. Okay, last but not least, here we are with Boba Fett, and he turned out amazing. Sorry, this is just all a video, like 15 minutes of gushing, a video full of gushing, and fucking tooting my own horn. Anyways, if you are a average Juicy Customs enjoyer, which you probably are if you watch this channel, fucking no one watches me, but if you're an average Juicy Customs enjoyer, you would know that this figure has been in production since like fucking September. It's been in production for a very long time. So yeah, I finally got him finished once I got an order in from Luke. So yeah, let's just get into this. And I just want to preface first, this is his Book of Boba Fett look, which, if I'm being honest, me personally, I didn't mind Book of Boba Fett. I know a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, had problems with Boba Fett. Hang on, I'm just changing the camera. I know a lot of people have problems with it. Me personally, I didn't mind it. That scene where he's riding the Rancor was pretty fun. The only thing I wish they could have done better was I wish they handled Cad Bane a little better. I really wish, like, that he would have been a cool villain for season 2. Anyways, the helmet is another fantastic piece by Luke, which was just painted up by me. It was painted in a dark green color, the same part as my old Boba Fett. You'll see him at the end of this video. But yeah, and then he was given a Citadel Nuln Oil wash, and there were some few dings on the helmet. I'm really happy with the little shaved off paint on his helmet. It was also Citadel Runefang steel for that. I use that for pretty much all my battle damage, because you just slap it on there, dry brush it on, it looks fantastic. Those little red stripes on his helmet, I never knew what these were for, but I just knew they would be really hard to paint, and they were. So yeah, the rangefinder's just painted up, it looks nice. The jetpack was actually the same jetpack as my old Boba Fett, because I worked on this figure in my college dorm, funny enough, so I didn't really have access to another jetpack, so I just sculpted a little bit over there, and then, there it is, painted it up. Again, with the Book of Boba Fett, paint job. So if we go around to the front of the figure, we see that he has a LEGO Brick Arms EE3 carbine rifle. Carbine, I forget what it is. but it's his just signature rifle, and I painted the shaft and the muzzle in gunmetal, and then added a little bit of silver to the tip, and then painted the stock in a brown color with a little added extra detail. So I'm going to take this out of his hand. There we go. Oops. Ah, there we go. The chest piece was another great piece by my friend Luke. Again, Luke and Aaron, these figures wouldn't exist without them. They're basically carrying my customizing career at this point. So, yeah, that was another fantastic piece by Luke, and I think it turned out really clean. I just glued it on there and painted it up. Same techniques as always, and I actually sculpted a little scarf around him on the front, because, he's wearing a scarf. The little... I forget what this is called. Fuck, it's the, fuck me, dude, I forget what it's called. But, I'll put text on the screen if I remember what it's called. Editor, put text on the screen, make me look smart. So yeah, it's the, I fucking, this is gonna bother me for the rest of the video, so I painted that on the front of his armor, and then going on to the arms, the shoulder pads. Again, the only arms that weren't sculpted by me were the arms on Mando, so these were 100% sculpted by me. The shoulder pads were sculpted. I think they turned out pretty nice. On this side, actually, I'm going to get a close-up of this. The Mythosaur skull, I think, turned out fine, but actually, this kind of sucks that I have to say this, but I actually like the Mythosaur skull on my old Boba Fett way better than this, because I just think it looks way more clean. And this was kind of rushed, and I think I painted this like three times. It took me 3 tries, and then I just said fuck it, and I went with the last try. So, yeah. Going down to the belt, his belt was actually 2-layered. So the first layer was cloth that went around past, over the arms, or under the arms, this way. This belt was really complicated, down to the back as we bend over Boba Fett. Sorry. So, and then over that layer of fabric, which is, you can see the outline of it right there. Over that layer of fabric, we have an E-tape belt. And so the E-tape belt was just painted in the same red as his gauntlets and outlined in brown and wrapped around, and it goes to the back. So, and he has a sculpted belt buckle, well, just a dry sculpted belt buckle, and I used the same techniques for the canisters as I did with Mando, in which I just rolled out a big piece of Procreate and then cut it out, let it dry, and then cut them out and glued them on there, and then painted it. And he has another pouch right there. Going down, he has the strap on his thigh. He has the thigh strap. Which sucks is I did make a little blaster holster there, and I think it turned out great. I just want to see if I can... Which sucks because I think I glued the waist cape in the way you can kind of see it. Which sucks is because I glued it in a way where you can't really see it, which I didn't really think that through, which kind of sucks. Anyways, going down to the waist cape, it's just fabric glued into like a waist cape position there, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So yeah, I painted minimal detail on the thighs just because I didn't want them to be blank. The knee pads again were from Luke, and I think he did a great job with that print. And I just painted them up in the same yellow color as the rest of Boba's armor. And then the shin armor went around the sides. I actually didn't know that. They went around the sides. So I painted that kind of last minute. So, yeah. There's not really a really good design for his shoes. They're just again, standard Star Wars shoe design. I don't know. But yeah, that is it for Boba Fett. And I'm looking forward to Season 2 of this show. Because, again, I didn't mind Season 1. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with his character in Season 3, if he's in Season 3. So, yeah, let's get on to the... Oh my fucking god, I don't want to do this, but I have. But I can't help but do this. The comparisons for these figures. So, yeah, let's get on to the most embarrassing part of the video. Fuck me. So, here is my old Mandalorian figure from 2019. Yeah. 2020, late 2019, early 2020, I can't remember. I'll put a video. The card in the fucking top corner. Man, don't watch it. Actually, I don't even know. I think I was still saying, hey guys, but I was saying stupid, hey guys, it's fucking Michael Jackson. I don't even fucking know. But, yeah, you can see the fucking, it's just night and day. This was his Season 1, I guess, the gunslinger outfit or the Western outfit. Jesus fuck. I mean... What the fuck? The straps were just way too big. Everything was just oversized, and the sculpt was just clunky and not sanded and just fucking weird. And this is only part one of this. You know, I have more. And the helmet, I was in that phase of sculpting around the helmet, and I sculpted the fin up there. And I don't even want to go to the back because there was a cape. I had some fucking E-tape ass cape. And yeah, I made a magnetized pulse rifle, and that was the back of it. Jesus. So yeah, and if you think that's bad, oh shit, if you think that's bad, just you fucking wait. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. That is my very first. That's what's left of my very first Mandalorian figure. Fuck me, dude. This is a huge punch in the face. Fucking punch me in the face. But I don't think I need to say anything. Oh my, this is just embarrassing, man. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to Bo-Katan. Jesus, kill me. Well. I think this is the best comparison, like where I'm tolerable of it. So this is my old Bo-Katan. Oh, given this is the Clone Wars version, not the Mandalorian version, so there's obviously going to be some differences. So, okay, it's funny that Aaron basically carried these two figures with the helmets. That's Aaron's helmet, and that is minus the rangefinder. This is also Aaron's Clone Wars helmet for Bo-Katan. So, I mean, the difference again is just night and day. The only thing that's like similar is the fucking blasters. I just carried over the exact same blasters, except these were painted in a matte finish, and then those were satin finish. So yeah, the going back around. Actually, do you want to talk about this? The jetpacks were fuck me, dude. Were, as you can see, oh, dude, are you kidding me? Like, so as you can see, the Clone Wars version is big and clunky, whereas the Mandalorian version is just way more sleek. That uses a Clonery Customs backpack, or jetpack. As you can see, it's just like, I mean, it's still magnetized, and oh my fucking god. But it just looks way clunkier and way bigger. This whole figure just looks way puffier and not as sleek. The armor wasn't sculpted. It wasn't like sanded. I only did one layer of sculpt, and it just looks really shitty. Oh my god. And the knee pad looks, oh my god, it looks like she has a fucking penis. Not the knee pad, the cod piece looks like a fucking dick, dude. What the heck? The knee armor was, oh my god. I mean, obviously I'm using a 3D printed part, but even now I could do better than that. The shin armor actually isn't that bad. But Jesus Christ, the battle damage was fucking horrible. All I did was just slap black paint on there and then like mess it up with my fingers. I like the blue color. It's the same blue color I used on my Mandalorian Bo-Katan. So yeah, that's the difference between Bo-Katan. Now let's move on to the most embarrassing. Well, Mando was embarrassing, but I think Boba Fett's gonna be worse. So let's move on to Boba Fett. What the fucking frick, dude? This is... Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm like holding back laughter, and it's like 2 in the morning. I'm recording this. But Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I remember I like put a video out of this. Like, it was like January 2021. I remember I put it out on Valentine's Day. I said the fucking stupidest shit in that video. But I remember saying like, oh, I think this is my best custom yet. Like, what the fuck was I on, dude? This looks horrible. The armor is just really clunky and huge. It looks like a pancake. The helmet is just... I know I had a lot of help, but still, the paint job is just... What even is that, bro? And actually, oh fuck, I did forget about this. He actually did do the dent in the helmet, which I wish I carried over to this one. But I digress. The Mythosaur skull on this... I'm gonna get a close-up, but the Mythosaur... symbol on this one actually turned out really nice compared to the one on the other side, which, you know, was whatever. But I do like the Mythosaur skull, or the one on the left. I do like the Mythosaur skull on this one, but Jesus fucking Christ, the gauntlets weren't painted right. Oh man, they weren't even like sculpted. They were just painted. The thigh armor, they look like chicken nuggets, and this fucking thing looks really clunky and whatever. But yeah, this just goes to show that if you do this long enough, and if you keep trying, you will get better. I actually do like that this rangefinder is way easier to move. Oh fuck, it's way easier to move than that rangefinder, because this one it's really difficult to move or else it'll just break. It's fun fact, not fun, but fact that I went through 2 of these rangefinders. They broke quite easily. Like I dropped them and they just snapped. So yeah, that is my comparison with my old Boba Fett. I need to wash my eyes out with bleach. Jesus Christ. So yeah, with that concludes my Mandalorian Season 3 showcase video. I'm extremely happy with these figures, and I truly think that to this day, these are the 3 best figures I've made. Well, minus like 1 figure. But yeah, as for the rest of the year, I have 1 more custom minifigure video planned, and then I have a wrap-up video planned. I think it's 1 more of course, it's a fucking Suicide Squad video. So I have Suicide Squad video, and then I think that's it for the rest of the year, and then a wrap-up video. And as for next year, I'll explain that later in the wrap-up video, or I'll do another video this year. So many videos. But as far as future projects are concerned, I have like a few more, like I did this man, starting some music figures, But yeah, and then I've upgraded a lot of figures like this one. I'll do a little showcase on that, but please be sure to follow the Instagram because I'm way more active on there than I am on here. So just go follow the Instagram. Here, use code BBS for 5% off on Luke's site. So because Luke and Aaron both carried this video, so go follow everyone in the description. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm recording this like 2 in the morning, so it sounds like someone's holding me at gunpoint, but trust me, I'm fine. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.